So, talking about how young girls should make better choices about the way they promote themselves, you mentioned their ass rather than their assets.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe that
Absolutely.
influence?
The media has a huge influence on how our little girls feel about themselves when they're always talking about Nicki Minaj's ass or Kim Kardashian's ass, and oh, that's the best thing about them. Unfortunately, we don't stop and pay attention to how we even first heard of Kim Kardashian, as opposed to, you know, what's really important to our girls, the way that they think about themselves. We need to spend more time and more money making our girls feel better about themselves by way of promoting people like Jennifer Hudson or oh God, sorry.
You don't have to worry about it.
You're not gonna hear the train?
You want to try that through? Okay.
No, wait for the train.
Yeah. I was saying, you don't have to start over. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let them go.
Yeah. We hear you, we hear you.
Alright. I think we're clear.
Okay, you can pick up from wherever you left off.
Promoting Jennifer Hudson.
I don't even remember what I was saying.
And that we should do, the media should do more, a better job promoting images like Jennifer Hudson's.
Absolutely. And you know, the media is starting to do a little bit better in terms of our image. We're starting to see more curves, more dark skin. We're starting to embrace kinky hair a little bit. I think that is definitely a step in the right direction. That we're happy to be exactly who we were born to be.
And, you know, the other side to that coin, and we talk about the reality shows and all those sorts of things, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business. And the networks, the executives, they don't necessarily have a responsibility to put out a positive image. Do you believe that networks do have a responsibility to put forth positive, or at least balanced images of African American and multicultural women?
It's up to us to put out the images that we want of ourselves. I'm not going to grow my hair back to make anyone happy. If they choose to highlight that fact, great. If they don't, I'll do it myself. It's all about promoting what makes you proud. And there are so many people that are doing such great things. We just definitely need to focus more on those people.
And you've had some experience in the beauty industry. You've modeled. You've been.
That's what you want to call it.
You've been on the cover of a magazine.
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts around? And you kind of alluded to it. But do you have any? Do you have any particular thoughts around the standard of beauty that young girls seemingly gravitate towards, certain features? What are your thoughts on this standard of beauty that most of us will never attain?
That's the great thing about being Black in America. We come in all shades. We come in all shapes and sizes, width of nose, kink of hair. We come in all types. So there's no one thing that can ever really be, is that still good? That sounds loud too. Okay. There's no one thing about our race that you can pinpoint and say that's it, that's all we are. We're so much more than one thing. We're thick and we're thin, and we're tall and we're short, and that's what makes us wonderful. You just have to embrace what makes you different. If we all looked alike, the world would be a very boring place.
What was, in your life, that defining moment, or when you finally said, you know what, it all makes sense, and things just came together for you?
I think the biggest defining moment was kind of tragic, actually. I was in a relationship with a man who was very abusive, and I lived with him. And I remember the day I decided to leave, and I asked God for strength and the ability to just be able to get out of the situation. I remember packing my bag and saying, Lord, if you get me out of this situation, I promise to put you in the driver's seat and not look back. And I remember the day I told him I was leaving. We were on the second floor in the bedroom, and I had my suitcase packed. And I said, I'm leaving you. And he stood in the doorway and told me that if I decided to walk past him and, in essence, touch him, he would consider that a threat and have to protect himself. So I said, fine, I'm gonna go out the window. You can stay in the door, but I'm going out the window. I was so determined to get out of that situation that I would have done anything. And he said, fine, you wanna leave me that bad? Go ahead and leave. And he allowed me to pass him till I got to the top of the steps. And he pushed me down the steps. Now, this is a man who said he loved me, who had put me through a wall, who has pushed me down the steps, who has choked me. I remember having bruises all over my body. He never touched my face, but he hurt me so badly because I didn't love myself enough. And from that day on, I was determined to love myself and not let anyone ever put their hands on me again. And no one has ever done that since.
Wow. So what would you, that's not good. What advice would you give to young girls who are either in an abusive relationship, or they notice the signs, but they ignore them?
That's usually something that's learned. If you continually get into situations like that over and over again, it's a habit. You generally continue to find the same people that love you over and over again. And the first thing that I would tell girls that keep getting themselves into those type of situations with abusive people, whether it's verbal or physical abuse, love yourself first. When you start seeing those signs, realize it's not the people that you're choosing, it's you who keep choosing them. Find out how to break that cycle and find someone who is going to love you in a way that helps you to grow into a better person. And that's the same thing with our friends that we allow in our lives. If someone is holding you back, if someone doesn't want the best for you, because they probably don't want the best for themselves, you need to move on. And that's girlfriends in school, that's boyfriends, that's anyone who isn't and doesn't have your best interests at heart. Just pick up and leave them. You can do better.
I do. We want to switch gears. Got two.
Sure.
Switching gears completely to what are your hobbies and what are the things that bring you most joy?
My biggest hobby right now is fulfilling everything on my bucket list. And I'm doing pretty good so far. I would like to see every single continent in the world. I've already seen 4, and I'm determined to travel and see the rest of the world and take people along with me. Because it's one thing to see it, but to have a witness to it as well is, I think, the best thing in the world.
And what, if anything, would you change about your life?
What would I change about my life? I think the one thing, if I could go back in time, I would make sure that I finished college. I went 3 years and didn't finish. And I can't tell you how much I feel that's held me back in some cases. But I'm thinking maybe one day, maybe when I'm 70 or 80, I'll go back.
Never too late.
Never too late.
Never too late.
Okay, that's great. What I'm going to get you to do right now, just look directly in. I want you to state your full name and say where you were born. Okay.
My name is Sonia Lowry. I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay. Now, this time I want you to say your full name and say, I am a black, after you say your full name, I am a black woman, unscripted.
My name is Sonia Lowry. I'm a black woman, unscripted.
Cool. I need you to go. She's going. Yeah, just going to like y'all singing. We in black.
We're not getting ready to sing.
Don't.
Okay, when I count you both in, we are black women unscripted. 3, 2.
We are black women, unscripted.